Wait, and Eric Hurd. I'm trying to try. What's going on, everybody? This is Warren,
This is Jay.
and we the Eagles Collective. We just gonna talk about the off season right now, what the expectations are coming into training camp, and we also got a special for y'all. We're gonna do an NFL tier list. So sit back, relax, and let's talk some ball. Welcome back, everybody. It's Warren and Jay. Jay, how you been? I know it's been a minute since we've been on here. How's
I'm doing
everything
good. I'm
going?
doing good. I'm doing good, bro. Thank you for asking. I hope you're doing good yourself.
Most definitely, just life is life right now. That's all. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. First, I think we kind of know the whole situation with Saquon right now. We're going to be getting an elite running back. We haven't had that, I would say, since Shady McCoy. So that's going to be very explosive coming out of the backfield. But my biggest concern on offense, and you might agree with me, Jay, let's talk about the wide receiver 3 right now. So we got a lot of options out there. We got Johnny Wilson. We got Smith from Texas A&M. We
John
got
Ross.
John Ross. And then I think we have somebody else too. I can't think of their name off the top of my head, but what are you seeing as the situation with the wide receiver 3 position?
It's literally up for grabs, but that's the position last year where they lacked. And remember when Devontae and AJ went out at the same time, it was very pedestrian out there for Jalen. So that's a position that they got to value. I would like to see John Ross step in there and try to grab that up over one of the rookies for the simple fact that he's a speedster guy. He has a lot of games still left in him. I just think that they need that type of receiver. Devontae's a speed guy, but he also is a route technician. So they need a guy who could just run some good goal routes and somebody who could get across and just make the safeties play a little back.
I agree with you. I'm kind of liking. Uh, they're saying that Johnny Smith might be looking to be a tight end coming up, so he has the length for it. I think that would be a good move. Put him at tight end, just because we know that Dallas Goedert is known for getting injured, just in the season and kind of having a solid backup there for him. I think that'll be good for everybody and for the team. What are your thoughts on that with him being a tight end?
I could see that happening, but because he has like a Jimmy Graham type of like for me like game type of like a big wide receiver also tight end. But tight end also comes down to blocking. People, it's easy for us to always wish for him to become a tight end, but if you can't block, it's really hard to play tight end because you're not always going to be involved in a passing game. There's going to be a lot of plays when you're out there, helping in the running game, helping with screenplays. So it would definitely take a lot for him to make that position switch. So it's only time can tell.
Yeah, definitely. And I know at the offensive line side, um, it's kind of solidified where everybody is, except for that guard position. I know Tyler Steen is supposed to be his position because Cam is now moving over to center. But they also got Guyton, who they just picked up from the Jets with a 1-year deal. They're saying that he looked explosive in OTAs and
Mekhi
he could
Becton,
possibly
he was
Mekhi Becton, my bad.
Becton, yeah. He was not coached well in New York with the Jets. He wasn't coached well, and he was injured often. But there was just a lot going on with the offensive line over there. Over here, he'll have way less responsibility. He'll just he'll be part of the rotation with the guys, and I think he's gonna flourish on the Stoutland because Jeff is known to make offensive tackles. Tap into the highest level of their game.
Yeah, no, you got a point. But yeah, that was my biggest concern, just that wide receiver WR3 position, do you have anything on offense that you see or that you're going to be looking for? I
You
know you
know,
say you're going to be making it out to camp.
yeah, I'm gonna make it out there August 1st for the open camp, the open practice. Kellen Moore, it's just I want to see how much he's evolving. To me, coming from he came obviously from LA, but prior to that he was in Dallas. Something in me tells me that he wants to stick it to Dallas the day he gets to play them. And I just feel like he wants to prove to them like, listen, I was in your building, you let me go. What's up, Vincent? I see you, bro. I like
What's going
that
on,
profile.
Vincent?
Yeah, so I just think that that's what's gonna happen. I think that that's what's gonna happen there. Everybody is. What I like about this team is well balanced, so nobody has to do too much. Football teams usually are unbalanced, and you have like Saquon just came from an unbalanced situation, but he was a whole
Hmm.
offense. And now look at the Giants fans crying and everything, saying, "Oh, we don't need you. The Eagles overpaid." Just last year, he was your whole offense, and the year before that, and the year before that. So literally your best offensive player for the last couple of years. So it's just like know, here he doesn't have that worry to be the top guy. He's just he's part of the team. Well
Yeah.
balanced.
Let's kind of dive a little bit into the Kellen Moore part of the offense. Now, a lot of people say that Kellen Moore is trying to change Jalen. Jalen at the press conference mentioned that it's a 95% change of what he's used to. I personally don't believe that it's a 95% change. Maybe just the lingo and the language and just changing up everything. That's probably changing, of course. But we got to look at it from this aspect too. Kellen Moore lost his job with the Chargers. So you got fired from the Cowboys and then you're getting fired from the Chargers. This is an opportunity for him to also with three different types of quarterbacks to
That's
show
where
that
his
he
growth,
can,
see
yeah,
where his growth is at this point because he's been through the situation.
exactly.
Him in LA was in. They had a lot of injuries. The whole
Yeah.
coach situation that was just in a disarray. Usually, when things start imploding and then they explode, but that imploded from the inside out. They just had a lot of internal things going on. Everything wasn't lining up for them. The injuries was the number one thing. They were missing a lot of people. Then Herbert went out. So what could you possibly do? How much can you get out of your backup? So I just feel like everybody in the Eagles organization, if they play their role, every player plays their position. I feel like they're gonna go far. Last year's is sad. They were 10-1 to go down and to go down the way they did. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. If you guys don't think about that collapse till this day, I don't know what to tell you because I'm still not over and I still want answers. And we're probably never gonna fully get answers. And if we do, it's gonna be long down the line because there's no way you rolling the way you rolling, and then you just
Yeah.
fall all the way off the cliff. And then I will say it again. It was the laughing stock of the NFL. I got friends who only call me when the Eagles lose. They called me 1 point up until that color. They were calling me every week. What's going on? What's going on? They were hiding before that. So I'm just telling you that collapse still to me. I don't know who to blame. If Sirianni's the problem, he's still in the building. We're gonna find out very soon. Oh, even though this is a new season, we're going to find out a little bit about Sirianni now because he fully has his hands off of everything now. His fingerprints is not even on anything.
Yeah. And I know Lane Johnson has been doing a few interviews and he interviewed with Rob Eisen and he asked him that question, what happened? Uh, what he explained was the coaching, and I think we tapped into this a while back talking about this team when we lost Shane Steichen, um, and also when we lost the defensive coordinator last year, the year before, uh, they took the position coaches and the assistant coaches to the Cardinals and to the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
So us being a team that just got out of the Super Bowl, we thought we could still move forward with the people that we have. They were in the building with us already. They know what the expectation is already. They know how to play that role. But that's why we're just going to promote them within. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's probably where we fell short at promoting within,
Agreed.
expecting them to play those roles. But when going 10-1, I think it was a little bit of that. And I think it was a little bit of the 49ers loss that we had that took a huge toll in it. I actually rewatched that game. And that game broke us a little bit. So those things that we were hanging on by a thread, that totally got washed out. So I think
Yeah.
that wasn't taken into consideration as well. But when you got that, and then you got the coaching on top of that, these coaches, how do you come back from a loss like that? As now the linebacker coach, D line coach, cornerback coach, I mean DB coach, safety coach. Like, how do you come back from those things? The only coach that kind of was in position for that and was battle tested was Shane, not Shane Steichen, but the O line coach. So like that's
Stoutland.
yeah, Stoutland was the only one battle tested and knew what to do in those positions. That's why the tush push or the brotherly shove was still successful within that. So just thinking about that, just in those type of situations, we just didn't have the right people in position. So now that we have an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator that have been through those type of situations, with them bringing in their people now, I think we're definitely going to see a different team. We're not going to see us take off from the beginning. We're definitely going to have a slow start just because we're going to be getting a rhythm of everything.
Mhm.
However, once November comes, we should be seeing a totally different team, an explosive team at that.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of pieces in play, and then nobody has to be Superman. Everybody has to play their part. O-line has to protect Jalen. Jalen has to protect himself and not put himself in harm's way. You know, I haven't rewatched the 49ers game. I don't want to, as much as I don't want to admit it, but that game did do some damage on them. I don't know if it fully was the game, fully did it to them, but I just feel like that loss, there was so much expectations going into that game, and the way they lost that game made it very hard to move forward. And once again, the offense looked flat, man, and they couldn't pick up the blitz. It was a lot going on, man. People wasn't doing their assignments. Was it play calling? We just won't know. We won't know. All I know is that Sirianni's still in the building, and if he was a
Mm-hmm.
problem, man, we're gonna be in for another long ride.
Yeah, and that's where the question goes back to Sirianni. I think that's probably why me, you, and other fans have speculations on what's gonna like. Can this be another downfall season? Because we do have Nick Sirianni still in the building.
Mm-hmm. So
So
that's my concern.
that's
My
the
concern is that
yeah
and then that's my concern basically. We have all new coaches. We just lost two leaders on the offensive line and the defensive line. Like, there's a lot of things going into this season where that's why some people are not ranking the Eagles too high, because there's still a lot of unknown with Philly right now. There's still a lot of unknown. What the offense look like, what defense look like. You understand? What is Sirianni under this type of pressure going into the season look like? There's a lot. There's a lot on the table right now, and then all of a sudden we're hearing all these I'm sorry, Dak and Jalen comparisons. Like, it's just going crazy
yeah
right now. The Eagles and the Cowboys are always going to be compared. But the fact that people are just acting like Dak is that much better than Jalen or even better than Jalen is ridiculous to me. You understand? When he's accomplished more than him in less time. That's what you just have to look at dude's resume. That's all you got to look at, not his stats, his resume.
Dak Dak is a Kirk Cousins type quarterback. He's a stack quarterback. Um, he can get you the stats. He can get you the yards. Any receivers that are trying to get yard, he's good for fantasy. At the end of the day, that's what I said. He's good for fantasy. You want to get your
Listen,
yards, you
bro.
want to get your stats, you got Dak. But I think
Listen,
that's what separates us from Cowboy fans. We really don't care about the season. We care more about the season as far as record because we know that will help rank us when it comes to the postseason. That's how we look at it. Cowboy fans are looking at it more as the games that we're winning, the stats that are getting put up. Like, we don't care about that at the end of the day. We know Jalen is not a stat quarterback. He's not going to get us the stats that are going to eye pop
yeah,
out.
that's
Like,
what
we're,
he's
we're
not
not
going
going
to
to
give you
get that.
300.
He
He's
wants
not,
to
he
win.
You
Yeah.
will occasionally, but he could beat you by throwing for 150 yards. He's done it plenty of times. Thrown for 200 and still beat a team. Like, he doesn't have to have that type. See, Dak, on another hand, Dak can't have that type. Dak can't throw 150, 200 yards in a game and win. It will never
Yeah.
happen. He has to go for 300, 400 shootout games. That's the type of quarterback he is. He has to, and then always, a lot of times last season they were hopping out. He was playing with the lead, so that factors also into how you play quarterback. Once you're playing with the lead, you're definitely playing more conservative. I mean, you're not conservative. You're definitely taking more shots because you have the lead. You have the advantage.
Yeah, no, you got a point. Let's go ahead and move over to the other side of the ball and kind of look at what are our expectations for the D line. So we got Brandon Graham. We know Brandon Graham is not going to be a starter. He's going to be a rotational piece.
Yep.
I'm looking at Bryce Huff and Josh Sweat starting. Behind him will probably most likely be man. What do you think? I think the second string, I can see it being Nolan Smith
Nolan
and
Smith is definitely Nolan Smith for sure.
yeah,
Definitely is going to be one of them. The other one, I mean, Ojomu, I like Ojomu. I think he's an underrated player as a backup DT. I think he's a good player. Booker, I'm not too familiar on Booker's game yet, but I could definitely seeing it being Nolan is the first backup.
yeah. When you
Graham
get
is the
free time,
second
Jay,
backup, and Graham will be the second. Graham, because they have a similar game once again, and Bryce Huff is almost similar. It's funny because Bryce Huff reminds me a lot of Brandon Graham. Like his game, he's a little undersized, but he gets under the shoulder pads of these offensive tackles and he gets the job done. He reminds me of him. He's a high motor guy. He's just quiet. He's definitely not as
yeah,
vocal as Graham. Graham has always been a vocal guy.
yeah. I think Jordan Davis and Brandon Graham are going to be our vocal guys on the D line. But when you do get some free time, check out Gabe Hall. Check out his tape. He was a defensive tackle for Baylor. I think he's one of their projects that they have right now, kind of like how
Mm,
Milton Williams was. Um,
that's nice.
dude, yeah, check him out. I looked at him a little bit. I think he's gonna be a sleeper right now that a lot of people aren't thinking about. Kind of like Jalix Hunt,
Mm-hmm.
how they picked him up and everybody's like he's a project type
Yeah,
player. I think that's what Gabe Hall is going to be. So yeah, definitely everybody actually take a look at him. His stats are good. He's aggressive. He gets off the ball well. I think he kind of reminds me of Hargrave a little bit.
nice, nice. That's a good
Yeah.
comparison.
So yeah, so that's the D line. Then of course we got Jalen Carter and we got Jordan Davis. I can see Jordan Davis playing that nose. Um, Playing that nose and playing the D tackle.
Scroll down a little bit. Scroll down a little bit.
Let me remove the banner off the show. Yeah. So Milton Williams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Milton
no, no,
Williams. Yeah. Milton Williams is actually going to be fighting for a contract this year. So we can
he's
see him
almost
having a
done,
good
right?
year. Yeah. We can
Yeah,
see him having a solid year. I would like to, and I think that's why they got Gabe Hall to kind of fill in that role for Milton Williams. Um, and that's one thing that's good about the Eagles. Behind the scenes, they got somebody in place, and they're keeping them in constant rotation. So I think Milton Williams, we can expect a good year out of him. Jalen Carter, I can definitely see a humongous. I can see a almost 11 to 12 sack year with Jalen Carter.
I can
Um,
see him taking off. Year two is usually the year a player, usually a superstar in the making, has his time. So I could also see him and Jordan Davis trying to form that new D line, that like leadership on the D line, because it don't take too long for a guy for the C on his jersey. You could be in your second year and grab a C on your jersey.
Exactly. We'll go over to the safeties real quick. We all know Sidney Brown is still suffering through his injury right now. So
Mm-hmm.
it looks like the starters would be Reed Blankenship and CJ GJ.
That's
I
perfect.
yeah, I don't mind that. I like it. Um, there's also talks on Bradbury moving over to the safety position. I don't see a problem with that, just as far as just the football knowledge on the field. But when it comes at speed, we know that he doesn't have the speed he used to. But yeah, I can definitely see Sidney Brown possibly being second, and then maybe Bradbury being second. Then we got the edge. Um, that's where you got Nolan Swift, Josh Sweat. Like this, this is a pretty solid um, edge rush.
Patrick Johnson
Outside
building teams
linebacker,
a
yeah.
while. gonna be interesting.
Yeah. And then we got the linebackers, Zach Bond. Zach Bond has been doing, they said he's been showing out at OTAs. We'll see how he turns out at training camp. Olin Burks from the 49ers and Kobe Dean, Georgia Bulldog. This will be his third year, correct? I think this
Yep.
will be his third year coming in.
Gotta
So
make
he has
something
a lot
happen,
to
man.
prove.
We don't got much memories with you, Dean. We see you on the sideline a lot. We just hoping you get out there in the field. Wishing you hoping
Exactly.
healthy season, man.
Yeah. Then we got Brandon Smith. Don't know too much about Brandon Smith. I think he's going to be a rotational piece for depth. And then you got Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I
Yep.
would like to see him in the second string. I would like to see him get put in the second string, maybe with N'Kobe Dean. But they're saying the first string is looking like Devin White and Zach Bond right now.
Which I
So
really like because, like I said, Devin White. I keep saying it. He's my favorite offseason pickup. Just once again, the linebacker room needed some knowledge. They needed some wisdom, and he's going to provide that.
yeah, I think
Okay,
I
Bond.
think
Bond is
when
a first too.
yeah, well, when Vic Fangio came in to the Eagles, he told them that he wanted Zach Bond. So he was a piece chosen by Vic Fangio. And
Nice.
we know Devin White has a point to prove. He's on that 1 year contract. It's a prove yourself deal. I'm pretty sure if he comes off performing like the old Devin White, I think we can be signing him a deal, or we can let him go, and there'll be time for Jeremiah Trotter Jr. to step up. But this is all hopes that N'Kobe Dean steps up as the linebacker we expect him to be.
That's what we
Um,
hope.
yeah, that's what we're hoping. But yeah, that's where we at there. And as far as the cornerbacks and DBs, this is where it gets tricky. Um, we have a lot. We have a lot of options.
This is the
My
this. He's not going to make the
yeah,
team.
yeah, and these can also be trade pieces too. For when training camp comes, somebody gets injured. Yo, well, we got Eli Ricks, or we got Maddox, we got so and so. So I think I think this could be a good piece, but this is really difficult to choose from who will be a starting, who's going to be the starting cornerback other than Slay. And I can kind of see
Slay is
Slay.
definitely locked. Slay and even Slay, Slay. What if Slay starts playing a little bit, under the weather? Then there's gonna be somebody's gonna snag because there's too much young talent behind him. I mean, Kelly Ringo's making noise, dating
Yeah.
back to the end of last season. People are buzzing about him. Isaiah Rogers has a major chip on his shoulder. He's coming with a vengeance. I mean, he had to sit out a whole season for the gambling situation. Zach McPherson, again, another player who we met previously on our old podcast. He's hungry and thirsty, bro. He wants to get out there. The injury unfortunately kept him out. Maddox is a guy, like I said, I want him in the building for depth and to coming off the bench and as a backup piece because starting may be too much for him as far as because he's injury prone, but I just think his intensity is needed in the defensive room, his personality.
So I got a question for you. With getting Quinyon Mitchell, first round draft pick, are
Mhm.
you going to start him?
I would only start him if he outplays the other corners in training camp. Like if he outplays Ricks, he outplays Ringo, then I'm gonna start him. But Ringo played last season and he played well towards the end of the season. AJ Brown raved about him. AJ Brown raved about him again. That's coming from an all-pro receiver that's bigging you up. So I could see him and Isaiah Rogers really going crazy for that CB2 spot. And maybe Mitchell may take the slot only because the slot is usually where you put your faster receiver, and Mitchell has tons of speed.
Do you see Slay playing the same role as Brandon Graham as he's getting more rest to make him ready and fresh for maybe like that fourth quarter games?
Yeah, yeah. So the Eagles, they give their players a lot of rest. They do that to the vets. That's one thing Sirianni has implemented. Some people think that's good. Some people don't think that's good. But one thing I do know is the Eagles don't really suffer too many catastrophic injuries. We lose a guy here and there, but we don't really go crazy. The Wentz injury to me is still the most devastating Eagles injury that I've ever like as a fan had to endure. Like when he got injured, man, I thought it was all over, and then we ended up winning the Super Bowl. So you can and remember that Super Bowl they were out seven complete starters, completely different people. ending the year. I just if Mitchell outplays the others, I would start him.
Yeah. I would like to see Mitchell and maybe Ringo on the outside. Maybe have Cooper DeJean or Isaiah Rogers as a slot. I think that would be a good piece. But it's so
A
many
lot of this
options
list is
out
not
there.
gonna I mean, half of this list is not going to make the team. They only can carry like 5 corners, like maybe
Yeah.
four. So
Yeah,
somebody
they're
on
going
the
to be on the
squad.
practice squad. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
going to end up being on that practice squad. But
And
yeah,
then
so
they can
that's
get picked up from there. So it's a risk and a gamble.
it is. So Jay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go back to talking about the giveaway that we got. I'm gonna play the video so everybody kind of gets a good feel of what we're talking about with it, and have you speak on it a little bit. But I'm gonna go ahead and play it real quick.
That we want to give back to our fans and supporters. That's all we want to do. We have a giveaway coming up. We want to give something away to everybody who's followed us, everybody who supported us, for the last year and going into year 2 with us. We have this limited edition AJ Brown bobblehead. It's limited to 125, and the reason why it's limited to 125 is because he had the 6 consecutive games of 125 yards. It's a handcrafted collectible. This have to subscribe to the YouTube, send a screenshot to us on Instagram, like the post, tag 3 friends, completely free. You don't have to put any money into it. It's just something that we want to give back to our fans and supporters. That's I don't know where Warren went.
All right, yeah. So here we go. So this going back to the tier that we were talking about. Basically, the way that me and Jay are going to do this, we want to make this very interesting. It's going to be a good conversation to have. We're tiering this based off of Super Bowl, who we expect to be in the Super Bowl, who are Super Bowl contenders, playoff contenders. The S we have is sleepers, teams that can potentially kind of like squeak into the playoffs, and just rebuilding teams that we know are struggling right now. They don't have everybody that they want. They don't have all the pieces, but they're looking for them. Let's kind of start off with the top right now. Well, we'll start off at the bottom, man. The way we'll start off at the bottom, we're gonna do the Eagles last, just so we got a good feel of where everybody's at. But let's go ahead and start with the Steelers.
Give him the
Let's
categories first. You give him every single category, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we got the categories. So we'll start off with the Steelers. Right now, the Steelers have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Neither one has been listed as the starter yet. They will be competing as the starter. I would like to rank the Steelers defense as a C plus defense, solid defense, maybe just a few pieces, and they can be in a good position. Let's see, we got Marcus Gonzalez. What's going on? Cowboys in here. Hey, I'm glad you're here. We're gonna be ranking y'all.
We're gonna rank it. I got something for the Cowboys.
So where do you put the Steelers at? Can you see them as sleepers? I'm looking at them as either sleep off or playoff contenders. Where do you look at them at?
I could look at them as a sleeper. The only reason why I say that is because their defense, their draft, they hit good on the draft on defense. So I could see them being a sleeper. I
Okay.
could see them being a sleeper.
Okay. Cool. Next we got the Rams. So as far as the Rams, let me hop on and flame y'all.
Yeah.
So we got the Rams next. So as far as the Rams, where are you putting the Rams at?
The Rams, listen, man, McVay and McVay is becoming a vet coach in this league. I would still put them as playoff contenders. I would keep them in that realm just because of McVay and then the system he's built there. And
Okay.
Puka Nacua, I like Puka Nacua a lot. I think him and Cooper Cup, that's a very deadly combo.
I see that. Yeah. Cooper Cup and then Puka. And then they picked up a running back. Was it the running back from Michigan?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. and I can definitely see them as playoff contenders.
Yeah, I can see them
So
as
so the Miami Dolphins, where are we putting the Dolphins at?
Dolphins are a weird team because they tease their fans a lot. I have a good friend of mine who's a Dolphins fan, and they always look good, and then they just have that game where and the Eagles are the one who kind of exposed them last season, and things didn't go well for them after that. I will put them as playoff contenders just because I'm not too sure of them right now, and they still
They
have
were in the
two.
playoff last year, so
They're in the
yeah.
playoffs, but they had that freezing game in Kansas City. It's just their tables are not always in their favor.
As far as the Jaguars, you got Trevor Lawrence just signed a contract. They did lose Calvin Ridley. Um, I can I can definitely see them as sleepers. What do you think?
I would put them in the sleeper carry category for the simple fact that I'm still very unsure about Trevor Lawrence. I know he got paid, I know he got the money and everything, but it's just I haven't seen true elevation from him yet. I want to see him do a little bit more.
Okay. So next we got the Raiders. Where are you putting the Raiders at? I'm seeing the Raiders as still rebuilding, so I kind of want to keep them where they're at.
100% rebuilding. I mean that organization's been in a disarray since the move and the AB situation and the GM situation with Mayock. It's been a lot going on over there in Las
Yeah.
Vegas.
So let's go to the Browns. Um, the Browns were in the playoffs last year. They did not have Deshaun Watson. They they kind of went in with a backup quarterback. I can definitely see them as playoff contenders going in.
100% because of their defense. Jim Schwartz is their defensive coordinator, and he keeps that defense formidable. Top five defense last season, so I definitely see them as playoff contenders.
Yeah. As far as the Patriots, they're they even mentioned that they're gonna have Jacoby Brissett, I believe, as their starter, and they're gonna sit Drake May for 1 year and just build him and develop him. So I can see them as rebuilding right now. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so right now as far as the rebuilding area, we got the Patriots and the Raiders. We'll do the Cowboys next. This for you, Marcus. So
Yeah,
let's check this out. So let's look at it from this angle right now. The Cowboys are showing that they can do more with less. And me
that's
saying that, meaning without a running back, without an elite running back, we still having CD Lamb, still got Dak. Um, don't quite have a solid wide receiver too, but I can definitely see them being because the expectation for the Cowboys is low right now because they didn't make any huge moves in the offseason. So they're a team that has the possibility of being slept on.
yeah, they also didn't lose much either. I honestly put them up there with the Super Bowl contenders at least because they just even though they always choke or whatever their fate is, they definitely are always in the mix. They definitely put up the numbers. Dak wins games. He is a winner. That's one thing that I'm not gonna deny.
Why don't we put them as
No
playoff
playoffs.
contenders then?
Yeah,
I'll put them at playoff contenders, and I'll say that because you got to think about it. They got a new defensive coordinator.
same thing like the Eagles. Yeah, same thing like the Eagles. The only thing about Dallas is like they're like regular season champs to me. Like they always doing it in the regular season, 13-3, whatever, good season. And then the playoff success to me is that's why this Jalen and Dak situation is too much.
Yo, Marcus said we need a backer too to be a real contender. I think
They
hey,
could use it, but they don't run the ball, bro. Dak can throw for 400 yards a game. That's just
but
they don't even
there's
need
some
to
running
run the
backs
ball.
in free agency right now. You still got Dalvin Cook that's a free agent. I don't know why they haven't talked to Dalvin Cook. You got running backs in free agency. So that's why I said they're trying to do
That's the
more
weird
with
move about
less.
Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is not assertive. I just don't know how that organization is run. I
Yeah.
just know Howie's phone be buzzing and ringing and texting and all sorts of things because he's always making a move in season, off season, mid season, whenever.
So you want to put them as playoff contenders?
I would put them as at the minimum playoff contenders because like I
All right.
said, they're always putting up the numbers and they're always there. They're freaking on our heels fighting us for the division every year.
Yeah. Next we got the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, they were right there. Detroit Lions are right there. Dwayne, what's going on?
Wayne, what's up, brother?
How you been, man? How you been?
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Detroit is a team, that whole culture and everything they built last year, just even getting that playoff win. A lot of things could go on over there. A lot of things can go right over there because they're forming a camaraderie between the fans and the team and the whole city, and you can feel it. I watch football all the time, not only just Eagle games, and watching their games, you could feel the radiation from their fans and what they feeling in this. That playoff win
Hmm.
was for them, so I would put them up there with Super Bowl contenders. Honestly speaking,
Yeah,
we're just
yeah.
a couple
I'll put
plays
them up
away.
there. A
Couple
couple
plays away.
players away. You got Jamar Gibbs. Jamar Gibbs is playing well. I think he's only going to get better. Marcus said, control the game with the D. Don't trust Dak and Crunt. Well, that's the thing right now with Dak. And the crazy thing is Dak knows this too. That's their fall off. They had the same type of fall off as we had. Just we already went into the playoffs with the low expectation.
Yeah,
Cowboys went in with the expectation of undefeated at home. We got this. If
they gonna
anything,
be
going to the NFC
tackling.
Championship. That's where that fell short at. However, I think I think Dak is going to prove himself because whether Dak stays a Cowboy or not, he is going to prove that he can still be an elite quarterback in the league. So that's why we're going to keep him at playoff contenders. But I appreciate you, Marcus.
Yeah,
So
you know what's funny? I think Dak will have more success if he left Dallas.
I agree with you. So
Really do think.
next we got next we got the Giants. Like I said, we're going to do the Eagles last. I think the Giants are in that rebuilding stage. So I'm gonna keep them there. Where are you at with that?
Oh, they definitely rebuilding. The Giants, I mean, forget about it. Definitely rebuilding. What
Yeah,
up?
bro. Hey, well, life is life, and right now we all been busy. I get you.
Yeah,
We
I
just
know
so
Dwayne. Dwayne is a father, man. So I see Dwayne always with the kids. I see you, Dwayne. I know you're busy, my brother.
as long as you happy and healthy, brother, we good. So let's see. We got the Colts. Well, we're gonna keep the Giants there. We got the Colts next. Um, in the Colts division, you basically have the Texans, the Titans, Colts, and you also have I'm missing somebody. Texans, Titans, Colts,
No, it's not the Jaguars. It's
and the Jaguars. Yeah, it's the Jaguars and the Jaguars. I'm gonna put the Colts as a sleeper right now, just because we didn't get to see Anthony Richardson perform the way that he could um, due to his injury. So I'm gonna put him as a sleeper. Where are you at with that, Jay?
sleeper 100% because he is pretty dynamic. He is like a Jalen type of a player. So I could see him changing their whole dynamic if once he's fully grasped the game and is fully healthy.
Yeah. Next, we got the Texans, who were explosive last season with CJ
I like
Stroud. Like he
man. I think
amazed a lot of people. So I can definitely see them being playoff contenders.
for sure.
So we'll do playoffs. Um, Next we got Green Bay.
Green Bay was another team. They stunned Dallas. They stunned Dallas. They almost took on the Niners. They're a team that I would put them as playoff contenders for sure.
Okay. All right. Next we got the Chiefs. Chiefs. Let's just.
Just
I
throw them
say we
all at the
put them.
top.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna
Mahomes is in
throw
the
them up.
building, bro. Mahomes is in the building. I don't even want to talk about them.
They went to the Super Bowl twice already. We know where
Twice,
they're at.
more than that. They
Yeah,
forget it.
but you get what I mean. Twice in a row so
Twice in
far.
a row, exactly.
Yeah, twice in a row. Um, between me and you and everybody watching, I actually think they are not going to win the Super Bowl this year, just because I feel like there's a lot of distractions going on in Kansas City right now. That's what I'll put it that way.
There's a lot of
Um,
because of what success comes a lot of a lot of drama, and
yeah,
that's what they're going through. Players going through things, all sorts of
exactly.
things. The locker room could be a little torn up and over there in Kansas City.
So I'm gonna put the Broncos. We're gonna leave them at rebuilding right now. Let's put them at rebuilding. Um, I can't see them going very much like further just because they got Bo Nix. They're still trying. They just got a brand new quarterback. Um,
But
Getting
they're
somebody like CJ Stroud is very rare.
they're rebuilding, dude. They're
Yeah.
definitely rebuilding.
Next, we got the Bengals. You got Joe Burrow coming out. Jamar Chase is still there. Um, I want to. I think I can actually see them as Super Bowl contenders.
I was gonna tell you, Joey Burrow, bro. He's cold. I would put him up there. You know why? Because when he's healthy, full and they roll and they can play.
I agree. So next, we got the Panthers. We already know where they're at right now. They're still trying to figure out
So Miles
who.
Sanders is
Yeah,
high.
yeah. Next, you got the Ravens. So the Ravens were right there. The Ravens were right there. Lost it. They added Derrick Henry as a piece that apparently that could possibly be that missing piece that they need right now. So I'm looking at them as Super Bowl contenders.
I would also put them up there. They have a former MVP at quarterback, and I just believe they always have a tough defense. As long as I've watched football over 20 years, the Ravens have always had a good defense.
Well, you know what? I want to change that. I want to put the Ravens actually as possibly going to the Super Bowl because they're
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
I would put them up there. I would
Yeah,
put the Lions up there too. I would put the Lions there.
I'm thinking about that too. Yeah,
Yeah, I would
the
keep the
Lions are
Lions
right
there
up
and
there.
continue going down the list because those three teams definitely show towards the end of the stretch of the season. They showed
Hmm.
plenty of potential for towards the future.
All right. Next, we got the Falcons. The Falcons have the easiest schedule throughout the season. They have the easiest schedule.
Yeah, but they got
So
a weird situation at the quarterback. You know, you got Kirk Cousins you just signed, and you got a first round guy in the bill. That's a very complex situation, Warren.
look at their division, though. You got the Falcons, the Panthers, the Saints, and the Bucks. We don't know if what's his name, if Baker
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 Mayfield.
Mayfield can repeat what he did last year. We don't know if he can do that.
You know, I think he's found his stride in the NFL. I think he's found what he
Okay.
knows how to do. Like watching him when he played us because he took advantage of us. He took advantage of the Eagles, and only a good quarterback would have been able to. Because even a mediocre quarterback probably wouldn't have beat them because they weren't that terrible. But he was picking them apart in that game during the playoffs, and he took advantage of them. And a good quarterback is going to do that.
Can you see them as sleepers?
I could see them as sleepers. Only reason why is because they
You gotta
they
remember, you got Bijan, you got the tight end there. You still got Drake London. Like you have a solid offense
I
at
would
the end of
actually
the
put
day.
them as playoff contenders for the simple fact that the division is weak.
Okay,
They may get
okay,
in by default.
okay.
They
I like
get in
that.
by default, yeah.
Next, we got the Cardinals. So the Cardinals with Murray picking up Harrison, I think that'll be a good team. I think they'll be solid. I'm looking at them as possible sleepers.
Sleeper, yeah, I would put them as sleeper because we don't know what's going on over there too much again and everything.
Yeah. Next, we got the Saints. Um, the Saints are kind of up in the air. That's that's one team that we don't know too much
But
about.
before we continue, can you drag down the Bills, the Bears, and the
You
Jets?
want to drag down the Bills?
Yeah,
Okay,
because let's put everybody down and then put them everybody in
and move them
rebuilding.
up.
Yeah, to not confuse anybody. Take down the Bears, take down the Jets, take down the Bucks.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
All right,
and then
so let's
yeah,
see.
that way the
Green
Bucks too.
Bay. And then I'll move the Seahawks, 49ers, Chargers, Vikings.
And
What'd you say?
the Bucks move Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
We didn't rank Tampa Bay yet.
yeah, we haven't done Tampa.
Okay,
So
perfect.
yeah, so
Set.
So yeah, so like we were talking about, so as far as the Saints, I don't see them as sleepers. I see them as rebuilding. I don't think they have a very good D line.
No, no, they. I put them in rebuild 100%, bro.
All
You
right,
always have to look
next,
at the quarterback situation first. That's going to determine a lot because you could have a
yeah,
quarterback that's be rebuilding, but you really can't be a contender with no quarterback. So that doesn't go both ways.
I agree with you. What do you think about the Seahawks? New head coach. Still got Geno Smith right now.
I'll be
They're
brutally
definitely
honest.
rebuilding on
I think
defense.
they're underrated. I would put them a sleeper all the way. I think they're underrated. I think people are gonna sleep on them. I don't think Gino's getting his flowers. I think he's at least better than middle of the pack.
But think about the division though. You
And
got
the
the Seahawks, you got the 49ers, you got the
Rams,
Rams, and who else? You got the
Cardinals.
Cardinals. So I can they can be sleepers. You think sleepers?
I think sleepers. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be rebuilding because there's veterans in that building. There's Metcalf there. There's veterans in that building. I forgot the other one. They have that rookie that was rookie last year, Jackson Smith. He had that
Mm-hmm.
crazy touchdown versus the Eagles with the fingers. He's pretty good, and they still got Lockett. They're not gonna be slouches. They're definitely not.
All right. Next we got the 49ers. I think the 49ers are solid. I think it all depends on Brandon Ayuk if he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would definitely put them as Super Bowl contenders at least.
Yeah,
Um, this is no
agreed.
disrespect to them, just because I feel like they got contract issues right now, and we all know whenever there's contract issues, it affects the season. Um, Next we got the Vikings. Um, Vikings, I think, are going to be rebuilding. They're going to be focused on rebuilding right now. JJ McCarthy, finding out where he's at, where his feet are. Um,
Man, Jefferson.
yeah, and Jefferson. You got Jefferson, but answer this for me. And as we go throughout the show, name a team and everybody watching right now. Put it in the comments. Let us know. Give me a receiver, a wide receiver that already had a high. Give me a high paid receiver
Mm-hmm.
that won the Super Bowl. Give me a team that had a high paid receiver that won the Super Bowl.
They won the Super Bowl. That's hard.
Yeah,
That's hard.
yeah. So yeah, just something to ponder as we do this. Um,
That's a good
but
one.
yeah,
Wow.
so next we got the Bills. I think the Bills are Super Bowl contenders. I think they're just that good. I think making that huge move to move off of Diggs can definitely put them there. Um, what are your thoughts on the Bills and Josh Allen?
I think the Bills have probably the best home field advantage in the whole NFL. It's very tough to play in Buffalo. It's very tough to navigate around there just in general. So I can't even imagine going to play a football game. So I think that they're Super Bowl contenders. Josh Allen is an MVP type of player. He's in the league for a reason, and I just think that they're definitely Super Bowl contenders.
Got you, got you. Let's see. So
Who?
we got the Commanders.
Oh, they're rebuilt.
Um, Rebuilding.
Yeah, I don't see them as sleepers because that's another organization like the Raiders. They're just in disarray. There's nothing to sleep on them about. There's always problems there.
Okay. I personally see them as sleepers. The only reason why I say that is because Jaden Daniels, solid. They kind of built up their defense. They got some. They got a running back behind them. They got Austin Eckler. They got
Man,
him there. They got receivers. They can be competitive and be a sleeper team. That's just my personal opinion.
you
But
could put them on sleepers. We could load up the sleeper
because definitely the Giants are the lowest ranked team in the NFC East. We
for
can
sure.
we can agree on that, and I think it'll be. I think yeah.
I think it's
So
really. I think it's weird because I think that the Eagles and the Cowboys are in their own tier, and then both of them are just in their own tier. Like I don't even feel like there's a clear separation. I look at
Exactly.
Washington and the Giants almost as the same. They can't get it right.
Next, we go to the Bucks. Um, I think the Bucks will be playoff contenders.
Yeah, because I think
I can
Mayfield,
see
like I
them.
said, I think he got it. I think Mayfield got it. I think he understands the game. I think he knows what he brings to the team. I would put them as definitely all playoff contenders.
Next, we got the Bears with Caleb Williams. I think with the so in the division with the Bears, you got the Lions, you got Green Bay, you got the Bears, and there's another team that I'm not thinking about right now. Um, I think it's kind of tough right now. It's kind of tough.
You know, you don't want to put them in sleepers because they got Keenan Allen, they got a bunch, they just got Swift. I would put them in sleepers only reason because we don't know. We don't know. They're completely new.
They
Well,
can come
first
out of nowhere.
come out of nowhere. They can come out of nowhere, you understand? And be fully hitting on all cylinders, or it can go bad right away.
What are we looking at with the New York Jets? I think the New York Jets are Super Bowl contenders. Just with Aaron Rodgers coming back, they have a solid defense. The only thing they needed was just that quarterback.
Bro, once again, my son is a major Jets fan. I'm from the North Jersey area, and I'll tell you what, they were literally a quarterback away last season from being a team. Like they were consistently ranked in the top five in many defensive categories. I don't want to jump the gun and put them there. I want to put them with playoff contenders.
Okay.
Yeah, because just they because we still need to see a little bit more, but defensively, they are one of the top units in the whole NFL, and I don't think people understand that.
Next, you got the Chargers. I think the Chargers are rebuilding right now.
Yep.
Um, you got the Chargers rebuilding, and I also think the Titans are rebuilding at this moment.
Both of them, yeah, I would say that too. But the Titans, they're very unclear what's going on with their future. It's been downhill for them for a couple years now. Who else we got, Warren? We got
Um,
we
so
just got
yeah,
left, right?
hold on one second.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, looking at this, so we got all the teams in here. The last team we got is the Eagles. Now, we have to be fair and we have to be honest. Me personally, I see them as at least in the top three tiers. Top three. The Super Bowl, because we were in the Super Bowl only 2 years ago. We were only in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Yes, we lost Jason Kelsey. Yes, we lost Fletcher Cox. Yes, we lost Hargrave in that process. Um,
But they've tooled up well since then. I don't want to be
yeah.
biased, but I would put them right behind the Bills only because Jalen gives them that edge. I wouldn't put them in the Super Bowl category yet. No, I wouldn't because we got to get back to that. That was 2022. 2023 was a disarray.
So answer this for me. Do you think Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore is better than Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon?
I mean, I never liked Jonathan Gannon as a defensive coordinator to begin with, and it's I think almost
We got the most sacks. We almost beat the record
yeah.
in the NFL history for the most
I know,
sacks.
and I just still is weird because under him we almost beat the Bears record. It's just that's a tough question. I want to say no, we're not better than that because we don't know what Kellen Moore and Fangio is gonna do. So I want to say no.
But they have a history of what they have done.
Yeah, they have a history, but the thing is that they're walking into a situation where it's like them giving you a garage, but inside the garage is nothing but like exotic cars, not just regular cars. And this is like, what do you do? It's like them as coaches haven't been in a situation with this plethora of players and this type of team. So I just think that they're gonna maximize their coaching skills with what they got in front of them, especially Kellen Moore.
So
It's
you're
Kellen
saying
Moore.
it's like you have a garage full of exotic cars, but you need to understand how to drive them first.
Exactly, and how to maintain all of them, and you got to figure it out because it's like
Okay.
just get they're giving them the keys to just like a bunch of good resources. Like, bro, on defense, he has guys, he has Pro Bowl guys. The Eagles' offense is the same thing. You got Pro Bowl guys, you got All Pro guys, you got a good balance of rookies. So they're walking into a good situation, especially Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is dealing with AJ and Devontae Smith.
So this is my thing, though, and we have to be fair about this. The fact that we're doing that, I feel like we need to put the 49ers at least up there.
Yeah. And I would also not to be, I would put the Texans up right behind the Eagles. Because what made Texans are another team, I feel like Detroit, that's built up their culture so hard that they're only going up. Like CJ is really that dude on the field, man.
Okay. I like that. I like that. How do you feel about this list?
I like how this list looked because we got 4 teams in the top rank, 4 teams in the seconds here, and then after that you got a clear drop off. But play all those teams in the playoff contenders. Don't be surprised if one of them goes far because those are all teams with high potential, especially the Jets. I'm telling you, watch out for the Jets, bro. Watch out.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. We only got one NFC team at the bottom. Um, I'm gonna do this just for the sake of we gotta be fair. The Rams, because I think the Rams are sleepers right now too.
Like more than just like an actual serious sleeper. Like they're good, but
Not, I mean sleepers as far as
like, they're good.
they're
But I don't think
rebuilding. They have weapons now.
they're more
They
good.
have the weapons. Yeah,
I know what you mean. Like people, they're good, but you're sleeping on how good they actually are.
exactly. So I kind of like this list. I think this is a good tier for where we're at. Yeah. Anybody that agrees, disagrees, give me your thoughts. Who's your team? Honestly, who's your team? Do you feel like maybe the Chargers could be playoff contenders? Do you feel like maybe the Jaguars could be playoff contenders? Let us know. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. But Jay, I like this. This is real good. I had fun doing that actually. So
You know,
but yeah, so kind of give me your thoughts on how you think the training camp's going to be before we get up out of here.
I mean, I think it's gonna be an intense battle. That cornerback battle is gonna be it's gonna be a movie. Bradbury again, he must have a strong training camp if he wants to remain on his team because he's a potential cut option. There's just too many guys in the building in the secondary room, so they got to figure those choices out.
Yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, bro, it's always good getting on here talking birds. If any of you guys would like, you can always hop on. Let us know. You can message either me or Jay. Jay's taking over the Instagram. I'm kind of taking over the Twitter. So let us know. Like, reach out to us. If you got something to say, let us know. We'll put you on the show. We can talk ball. But yeah, other than that, we the Eagles Collective.
Go Birds.